الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على نبينا الأمين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Then we've reached the 26th question from the book Mistakes and Concepts Surrounding Ramadan That Must Be Corrected, which was asked to and answered by our Sheikh Abu Ammar Muhammad ibn Abdullah ba Musa, Hafidhullah Ta'ala. And this is the last Jummah of this month of Ramadan. And so we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this day when there's a dua that's accepted to grant us the good of the first or the most part of this month and to grant us even better in the last few days. Indeed, He is capable of all of that. The Sheikh was asked the question, is the belief of some of the people that Laylatul Qadr is always on the 27th night an authentic belief? He answered, the answer is from Allah, and from Allah we seek help to what is correct, that the 27th night is the night that it is most hopeful for Laylatul Qadr to be. However, we do not say with firm resolve that it is indeed the 27th night every single year. Rather, it moves around inside of the last 10 nights of Ramadan. This is the statement of Abu Hanifa, Malik, Ahmed, and as well as the choice of Ibn Abdul Barr, An-Nawawi, Ibn Hajar, Ibn Baz, Ibn Uthaymeen, and others. May Allah have mercy upon them. So for the night of Al-Qadr, and we don't like to say the night of power, because what does that mean, the night of power? The night of Qadr, when Allah decrees everything. So for the night of Al-Qadr, the night of decree maybe, in one year might be on the 27th night. And in another year, it might be on the 25th. In another year, it might be something else, all according to the will of Allah, the Most High, and His wisdom. So the scholars, they say, using as evidence, rather. I have my cat here bothering me a little bit, or my son's cat. So they use as an evidence the hadith of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, radiallahu anhu, that the Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, said regarding the night of Al-Qadr, he said, then seek for it in the last 10 and seek it on the odd. This is in Bukhari and Muslim. Ibn Abdul Barr, rahimahullah, he said, indeed, it is not one specific night in every month of Ramadan, for perhaps it could be on the 21st, or perhaps it could be on the 25th, or perhaps it could be 27th, perhaps it could be on the 29th. An-Nawawi, rahimahullah, he said, this is what is apparent and what is chosen due to the hadith which oppose one another, the authentic hadith which oppose one another, and there is no way to make a reconciliation amongst these hadith except by saying that it moves around from one night to another inside of different Ramadans. Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he says, and the most weightiest opinion of all of them is that it is an odd number from the last 10 and that it moves around as is understood from the hadith that are in this chapter or subject. Ibn Baz rahimahullah, he said the weightier position is that it moves around inside of all of the last 10. And inside of the odd nights, it is most likely. So it could be the 27th night, and this is the most emphasized of the odd nights. So whoever strives and struggles in the 10, all of them together with salat and with Quran and with dua, and other than that from the actions of good, then he will for sure have reached the night or earned the reward of Laylatul Qadr. And he will have been successful and achieved what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised whoever stood during it, if he did so having iman and hoping for the reward from Allah. He also said, Ibn Baz rahimahullah, that the authentic hadith from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam show that this night moves in the last 10, and it is not a specific night always. So it could be on the 21st, it could be on the 23rd, it could be on the 25th, it could be on the 27th, and that is what is most likely of the nights. And it could be on the 29th, and it could be in the even numbers. So whoever stood all of the 10 nights having iman and hoping for the reward from Allah, then he will have achieved or reached what he was looking for from these nights without a doubt. And he will be successful to what Allah promised the people who do so. Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah, he said what is authentic is that it moves around. So it will be in one year on the 21st, and in another year on the 29th, and in another year on the 25th, and another year on the 24th night, and like this, and so on. Because there is no way to reconcile between the hadith which have come regarding this except to say that it moves around. However, the night that which is most likely to occur in is the 27th night, but we do not specify in it as some of the people do. So it is necessary. So we do not specify as that night and single it out as some people do. And so therefore build upon that suspicion that it's only on that night. And rather we should strive in all of the nights. If a person builds his suspicion on just that night, then he will strive a lot in that night and be negligent in the other nights. All right. So we do not specify that night as some people do based upon this suspicion, and therefore have a lot of efforts and acts of worship during the 27th night while we're neglectful in the remaining nights. Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad, Hafidhullah, he was asked, how do we reconcile between the different narrations that have come specifying the night of Qadr to be on a specific night? So he said, Hafidhullah, we reconcile between them by the person praying all of the last 10 and striving during them. And with this, the person will receive or achieve what he's looking for, inshallah. The hadith, all of them which have been narrated, and the results are, they prove that this night, Laylatul Qadr, is hidden from us, and that the people must strive in those nights in order to achieve the reward of that night. Not that he comes on a specific night while neglecting the others. And the hadith that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said them, were on specific occasions and different conditions. So whatever is authentic from them shows what that necessitates. But the fact that it is hidden from us, and that shows that a person should be diligent, that he performs acts of worship in all of the 10 until he achieves the reward of that night. And this is what is incumbent or befitting for a person to travel along or take that path. And if he were to achieve the reward on a specific night, then then the people would have relied only on that night, and they would have striven in that night while neglecting what is other than that. So the fact that it moves around is what is apparent regarding these ahadith. And that's the end of Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad's speech. Sheikh Abu Ammar Muhammad Bamusi says, this is the speech of the majority of the Salaf and the Khalaf, those who came before and those who came after, that Laylatul Qadr moves around in the last 10, and that the 27th night is the night that it is most likely, but not necessarily that night. As for the other statement, which is the statement that some of the Salaf have considered and have taken that position, is that it is the 27th night. As for those who held this position and gave it the more weight from the current scholars, is Sheikh Al-Albani, rahimahullah, in his book, Qiyam Ramadan. And Allah knows best what is correct, and to Him is the return and the final resting place. And may the salat and the salam be upon our Prophet Muhammad, as well as on his family and all of his companions.